So you meet someone that you want to earn their trust right away, but some kind of a trust that turns clients into some fans who send their friends into your ways. So how do you determine it? So we prepared 11 principles that can apply in our mortgage business today. Why this matters is the complex services that we provide sometimes is very overwhelming. So as our loan officer role is to become the tour guide who can make them simple, as human as possible, and doable. First-time homebuyers are very weak and sometimes very uneducated with financial terms. So I want these turn into this something that sparks, that brings in referrals and lock in loyalty with our team members. First, when I train my loan officers, we use a lot of jargon. So every industry pretty much is similar. But with us, DTI, LTV, APR, and all these finance terms that we use, clients don't, live in our world. So we have to speak plainly. So instead of saying your DTI is too high, we need to say, for this loan, we need your monthly debt compared to income is lower, can be lowered. Let's explore some options. So instead of giving them any confusion, we can welcome them. We can bring them into our conversation and be on the same page. Jargon confuses, but clarity always closes. So when we talk about our content, when we prepare our situation, our financial standing, seldomly we tend to rush. But silence isn't awkward. It's a very powerful tool that the process bring clients time to process and respond with whatever that we presented. And it also shows confidence in us that we don't have any hesitation with our presentation. So think of it like good music. Always it starts with a quiet beginning. It rests, makes the notes hit harder as it goes furthermore. So when we give advices to our clients and realtors and our SOIs, sometimes the best move for the client isn't necessarily the best move for the client's wallet, right? The monthly payment, the target payment always comes into play. So when we tell someone to wait 6 months to fix their credit or prepare the larger down payment, sometimes may delay our commission, may delay the closing for number of the partners around us. But as we start saying this to our clients, going directly for their interest, it cemented the trust with our clients and realtors for the longer term. It is difficult, but when we plan things for the long game versus the quick win for the commissions, it will lead us into better positions. So when we pull the credit, when we review the file, we want to dive in as if we're interviewing the client, interrogating them. We go into very short questions such as, do you have good credit? Do you have good income? That doesn't clarify specific details. Instead of saying questions like that, I want us to have an open-ended question such as, tell me more about your credit history. Tell me more about your employment history. What had happened in the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? We want to know their lives, stories, context that can imply into the real insights. Open-ended questions, you can dig in deeper, you can prolong the conversation longer, and provide more information that they actually wanted to hear. You never know. What if they have random down payment from a family member or investment that they had made 3-4 years ago? Lately, as the stock market is blazing and going up, a lot of people who were not prepared became prepared. Random down payment of $60,000 to $100,000 were all prepared in the last 2 to 3 weeks. We don't have to get involved with all the tax implications after selling their stocks. But however, if they want to use this as a tool to prepare for the down payment, why not? Let them have an option. Let them, entertain some options that they may have. So I want all of us to be proactive and deliver what we have prepared to the client, especially if when it's bad news, we have to deliver it as soon as possible, as clear as possible. When we pull the credit and credit score is, let's say, 600, we shouldn't say something like, your credit is terrible. Instead, we can say something like, here's what we can improve with your profile. We can pay down your credit card X amount each month so you can have better terms, better rate. And we have this rapid rescore system in our credit agencies where we pay $6 per credit bureaus. So when we have 3 credit bureaus, we don't have to pay all 3. Just pay the top 2. And then when one of these top 2s grow, then our mid FICO score will grow as well. More practice makes perfection. So if you have any clients willing to pay great. If not, I want us to start paying for these services and practice before we send it, to Mike So for credit repairs. If it's simple pay down, overall debt ratio reduction, we don't have to overpay to Mike and then go through all these 3 to 4 weeks of waiting. When the client has enough money to pay down, and when we can do a rapid rescore, then we can bring something from 600 to 680 within 3 days. All these options that we need to deliver need positive attitude. It is difficult, but we have to somehow analytically review the file, write it down, and deliver it thoroughly. When we get involved with a client, we tend to mix our business and social personal together. Last week, we went over the content that talks about, is it necessary to have a personal SNS versus business SNS? We can be friendly. Little personal chat is fine, but if we don't get involved too much, I don't let the meetings turn into a coffee date. So I want us to have a professionalism separated out with a personal information, personal content, so that we can earn respect and focus with whatever that we want entail. So when we deliver content on online, email, text message blasters, let's not fake it. When you don't know it, let's say that we don't know it. We can study and learn from it. We need to start saying, such as, great question, great insight. We can say that we will confirm the information and get back to them instead of making things up. Admitting gaps, admitting misunderstanding, and following up fast builds more trust than guessing wrong. So one may say, then how fast do we have to get back? My train of thought is always 2 hours. Within 2 hours during the business hours is my target. Even if you don't have the answer, when you receive a text and email, acknowledge the message and email and set a time. Set a specific timeline that the respondent can expect an answer from you. Quick replies stop clients from wandering to someone else. So when I ask my loan officers, my processors to provide me answers for a specific task, one may say that I'm micromanaging too much. But at the same time, we as a whole team needs to be on the same page. We need to go and achieve the same goal. So quick response, quick replies, quick communications of 5 to 10 minutes is better than 6, 7, maybe a follow-up next day. So we have to take a clear position. When they ask, what do you do? What would I do? When we provide solutions, it must make sense. It shouldn't sound something like that we are making things up, such as government FHA, VA, USDA rates are cheaper than conventional, but they're more expensive. But we have to address the why and how much it is more expensive than the conventional loan. We can recommend the 30-year fixed loan. It is the lowest payment and gives the flexibility to our clients, but we have to also dive in furthermore when the debt to income ratio is 20, 30%. Why not look into 20 years fixed and 15 years fixed? Right? So I want us to have the expertise with the product that we sell. Our client, our realtors want a guide, not a menu. We have to give them specific reasons why we provide. So I recommend us to provide at least 2 options when we present. Option A, the best. Option B, the alternative. Surprisingly, when the client chooses the product, the fallout ratio is lesser. We are going to launch a new program later this year helping us to sell the rate with screenshots, with presentation. We don't have to do all the sales on the phone calls anymore. Before you call, before you get into a meeting, let's prepare. Let's start with an agenda. We have to keep things on track, conclude with a recap, and outline the next steps. So when we have a proper structure that gives us the respect for their time and proof that we are in control. When I call my clients, I always ask them what I want to talk about. And I ask them how many minutes that they have. So I decide whether I dive deep or I set up our next meeting so that we can go over some specific numbers. So I send them a follow-up text, email, and Google Calendar reminder. Send them agenda, specific understanding, and follow-ups ahead of time, ahead of the meeting, and take visible notes. What I usually do is share the meeting screen and go through, type through on the Google Docs. And follow up with a summary email. After the meeting is done, even though you gave them a recap, you send them a follow-up text message or email explaining how the meeting was and with a summary of the content, specific numbers. Though this gives professionalism and stops details from slipping through our cracks. When clients say, can you summarize what we talked about and send me via email and text? We shouldn't be discouraged. We need to take notes. We need to do it at the same time so that we can just copy and paste or use Gemini that we provide, polish the content, and send it out right away. So these 11 things, I don't think they are random tips. They all work together in my eyes, and I want us to share the same vision. When we use them consistently, whether it's small or big, we can become the professional people who we can trust and be remembered and be referred. When we look into all 11 things, if you have any 3 principles that you are the weakest, I want us to point them, apply them on every interaction this week, and watch what happens. Takeaway is, which one of these, if you mastered it, could turn into one-time client into a lifetime advocate? Power of imagination always applies.